Okay, so today is our first lecture for the entire year. We're going to talk about topic 1.1, which is the classification of matter. So, your bell work question, which you will, when I get back on Wednesday, and I'll see y'all on Thursday, you'll start writing these in your year long notes. But right now, you're just going to answer via Edpuzzle. So, the first question is, what do you believe matter is? And the second one is, what do you think is a difference between elements and compounds? So you're going to answer that one. After today, you'll be able to explain the terms, which are matter, particle, atom, element, compound, pure substance, mixture, homogeneous mixture, and heterogeneous mixture. So today is a lot of classifying and identifying. And you'll be able to differentiate between elements and compounds, and pure substances and mixtures, and homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. And you'll be able to identify based off what something looks like. Again, we'll be using your note packet when I get back, unless someone put it out, but if they haven't yet, that's fine. So chemistry is a study of matter and the changes it undergoes. This is why our first unit is matter. We have to, when we talk about matter throughout the whole year, like what are we talking about? So some terms you've seen before. So matter is anything that has mass and volume. Now that means that light and sound aren't actually matter. They have neither mass nor volume. Mass is the amount of matter in an object, how much stuff. Energy is anything that can do work or produce heat. Weight is the force of gravity acting on an object's mass. So for example, your mass won't change if you go to the moon, but your weight will. So this is this is what we're learning today, this concept map. So we're starting with matter. So matter is anything that has mass and volume. So matter can be a pure substance, which means it's composed of only one thing, which pure substances are further divided into elements, which are found on the periodic table, and compounds, which are two or more different elements bonded together. And then matter can also be a mixture. So we have what's called a homogeneous mixture, which are alloys or solutions, which means it looks the same throughout, but they're just mixed together. And heterogeneous mixtures, which means that it's two or more different things ununiformly mixed together. So this concept map is what we're learning today. So there's two major areas that matters are classified into, which is pure substances and mixtures. So again, this is just examples. Some of these are pure substances, some of these are mixtures. So pure substances have a uniform and definite composition. So elements, they're found on the periodic table. We have approximately 118. Approximately meaning we keep adding more because we keep finding and making more. And so these are described by the symbols as found on the periodic table: hydrogen, helium, etc. Compounds are formed when two or more different elements chemically combine together. And so in order to separate them, they have to undergo a chemical reaction. So for example, water, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. So again, just talking about pure substances, we're looking at elements. So pure substances only contain one type of material. So if we're looking at this molecular diagram, you can see that all of these are just aluminum atoms. There's nothing else here but aluminum atoms. So it's a pure substance that is an element. So if it's just composed of one of these things, so example, if it's just calcium, that means that it's a element. And then a compound is also a pure substance, but it's composed of two or more elements bonded together. So if we're looking at this picture, you'll notice there's a water molecule, here's a water molecule, there's another water molecule. So even though there's two hydrogens bonded to an oxygen, two different elements bonded together, because it's only water molecules, there's only water molecules, that means it is a pure substance. So, for example, looking at table salt, if you look, these are all bonded together, And then in order to separate them, it has to undergo a chemical reaction. So that is what pure substances is. They're either elements or they're compounds. Mixtures, so two or more pure substances physically mixed together. So you literally stirred them together. So in compounds, these elements are bonded together. In order to break them apart, you have to set them on fire, run electricity through them. But mixtures, you can boil them or do anything to physically separate them. The substances are blended. Okay. So there's two types of mixtures. There's homogeneous, which has a uniform composition. So if we're looking at this root word, homo means same, so it looks the same throughout. So parts of it cannot be picked out. So for example, sugar water, this isn't a compound, it's just water and sugar and tea, but it looks the same throughout. Like you can't pick out the sugar. The same with milk. There's a lot of different things in milk, but I can't see it. It looks the same. So that's homogeneous. So again, homogeneous is just, it looks the same throughout, but it's not bonded together. This one's kind of hard to see that they're not bonded together. If I ever ask you looking at a diagram, I'll give you a more clear picture. So this is brass, which is just a mixture of copper and zinc. So is bronze. These are what's known as alloys, metal alloys. So these are different metals just mixed together to make a stronger metal. And in your world history class, I think you might be starting with the Bronze Age, and that's just people literally mix metals together. So heterogeneous mixtures does not have a uniform composition. These are a little bit easier to see. So hetero means different. So it looks different. Homo means same, hetero means different. So for example, looking at a pizza, I can definitely see that there's tomatoes, there's bell peppers, there's cheese. And so I could pick these out. Looking at a salad, there's carrots, broccoli, maybe this isn't a salad, zucchini, lima beans, or Brussels sprouts, etc. So I could pick out parts of this. So that's the difference between a homogeneous and a heterogeneous mixture. So mixtures means I can physically separate it. So for example, if you ever drink sweet tea, you'll notice at the bottom there's still sugar in there. So even though it looks the same, that doesn't look like there's anything mixed with it, it is. Heterogeneous, you can physically pick apart everything. So again, heterogeneous, you see here, there's water and then there's copper. So there's two different things going on. So now you guys are going to look, so looking at lemonade, what do you think this is? An element, a compound, a homogeneous mixture, or a heterogeneous mixture? You should have gone homogeneous mixture because this is just, well, not only is there lemons in here, but even this, even though it looks the same throughout, we know there's sugar, lemon juice, and water mixed here. So it's a homogeneous mixture because I can physically separate it if I want to. So looking here, we're looking at this, the helium in the balloon. So these are helium atoms. So what do you think this is? An element, a compound, a homogeneous mixture, or a heterogeneous mixture? You should have gone element. So I told you that this is helium, so these are all just He atoms, but if you can even look at the picture, so there's just, it's a pure substance because it's just these clear blue things right now. Okay, we're looking at ammonia or methane. Yeah, methane. Okay. So looking at this picture, what do you think it is? An element, compound, homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture. Okay, looking at this picture, these are all bonded together, and it's all made of the same things that are bonded together, so that makes it a compound. Okay, looking, this one is kind of hard to see. This is a metal alloy. This is a Liberty Bell, and it's made out of copper, tin, zinc, silver, arsenic, and lead. So it's an alloy of all these different metals, which you can kind of see looking at this picture. So there's copper and zinc, and I'm assuming that was probably lead. So what do you think the Liberty Bell is? It's an alloy of different metals. So you should have gotten homogeneous mixture. It looks the same throughout, but you could, if you wanted to, like you could melt this down, which is a physical change, and separate the metals. So now you guys are going to do your group work. So again, I realize that this says in your notebook, obviously not today. So this will be done via Nearpod. Remember, everything that I'm not here for, it is a grade. So make sure you're doing it so that way you're not falling behind. So your group work is via Nearpod. So all you're looking at is just the classification of matter. So the difference between a pure substance and mixtures. And for pure substances, the difference between elements and compounds. And for mixtures, the difference between a homogeneous mixture and a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, guys, I'll see you on Thursday.